Greetings.
Right.
My name is Ben, aka Downsize It, and today I'm joined by Social General Rob.
Hello, how you doing?
And we are going to be giving our responses to the Ask Me Anything number 3 for the channel. You guys sent in your questions, and today we'll do the responses and just give fair warning to everyone based on what happened last time. This is going to probably be at least a 2-hour video because we like to talk.
We do.
And just chase rabbits. And we actually got more questions than last time. And
which is good.
Multiple questions within questions, all that fun stuff. So this is going to be a, take this as a slow burn, grab your favorite drink, sit back and relax. I don't know if you're a painter. Put this on in the background or something. So just take this as a slow roll. It's going to be a long video of us just talking and chatting with you guys.
Right.
And also just want to tell you right off the front, for the giveaway, as always, the questions in the comments below, that's how you enter in. For the AMAs, just talk to us, basically. That's how you enter in. There's no specific question for this video, just to respond to our comments, to your questions. And then we'll respond, and we all go at the same time responding forever. But it's just to have a conversation with us. That's what these AMAs are for, is to, in a tangential way, having a conversation with you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just any conversational comments in the comments below will enter you in for the giveaway for the Venator, which is being provided by Garrett Rants for this month of June. So now, all that preamble away, we'll just get right to the questions.
Sure, let's do that.
All right, so first, we have Philip Vincent. Questions for you both. Have you thought about doing an extended series of side-swapping battles where Ben takes the Rebels and Social General Rob the Empire? The best way to best your enemy is to know them, correct?
Right there. Well, not going to speak for Ben, but I believe we will, because I do like to use the Imperials to learn more about them. As you said, best to know your enemy. But it also changes up things, because then I learn more things that I might want to do for the Rebels, maybe change up different cards. And I enjoy, alright, it's kind of sadistic. I mean, I'm sure Ben gets the same feeling. I like seeing Ben over there going, okay, how do I use this ship? Why did I move my Pelta all the way up in front of the Providence? So
Yes.
So, yes, I kind of get enjoyment, and I think he gets appreciation for the ships on that side of the Rebel player. So, yeah, I do believe, anyways, that we will, Ben.
Yeah, nothing really planned schedule-wise, but
No.
it's a good idea that I think we could do maybe a series of maybe like 3 bat reps where it's all just completely swapped, where I play Rebels and you play the Empire for 3 bat reps in a row and just kind of see how we come out.
Yeah.
Like a best out of 3.
Right.
As we're playing the factions that we're not familiar with. And whether it's doing our own created list or doing a subscriber list. So
we love to do.
Yeah. So nothing in the works in the immediate future, but it's something that, now that you've asked this, since you've brought this question in, that I am going to basically have that just in the back of my mind to think about as we schedule for the next few weeks for the content, the type of battle reports to put out. So for sure, I think that would be an interesting idea.
Yeah,
so,
and a good change of pace.
Good change of pace, yes.
For us.
So also from Philip Vincent, second part of the question. What is your favorite piece of supplementary Star Wars media, video games, books, comics, etc., outside of the movies and TV series?
Well, that's a good question. I do like the MMOs, multiplayer games online, and the ones I enjoyed was, I'm trying to think, I think it's Galaxy, Empire Galaxy. Oh man,
Galaxy's Edge.
No, what was that one?
Not Galaxy's Edge.
It was in the 2000s, early 2000s.
So the MMO before the Old Republic?
Yes.
What was that? Star Wars Galaxies.
Star Wars Galaxies, thank you.
Star Wars Galaxies.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's one I've loved the most. Because you could basically put your skills in anything you want. You want to be a big pistolier that actually knows how to do architecture. Literally, they had architecture for a profession. You could. I had made a Wookiee who was really good at rifles, and then he was an animal tamer. So he had his own animal, and it was kind of fun. And then also he was a ranger, so he could sneak around and also help his animal sneak up and attack. So it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, as games go,
And it's a shame that game died. It didn't last
it
forever.
died, and I know I'm not using an emulator or anything else for it because what's done is done.
Yeah.
But then also I do some books that I have. I have like a book on sort of thinking by Vader that I do. It's not like a serious like philosophical book, but it's fun to read and go, oh, that's fun. It's kind of like for the workplace thing, you know, how you talk to your boss or dealing with other customers and stuff like that, whatever. But it's a lot of fun. And then, make sure you know, there's some more subjects of philosophy, stuff like that I like to look into. I'll kind of change it up to not just typical philosophy that you hear every day or in college, something like that. I kind of apply it to the Star Wars world. For some reason, it makes it more interesting, and I'll actually hook and listen to that. You know?
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, like videos, movies, and all that stuff, like you already mentioned. But no, that's the basic of my media that I would do for Star Wars this week.
Yeah, my supplementary media that I enjoy the most is probably video games, and actually specifically beyond video games is just gaming in general, and that's the
Yes.
like Star Wars RPGs. My longest running group of friends I have are from my academy buddies.
Right.
20 years, over 20 years now, I think, and we've had just ever since then we've been doing these years-long running Star Wars campaigns. For the RPG, started off with the D6 system on the side, which is D20, and now we're currently in the Fantasy Flight system. But I really enjoy consuming Star Wars that way. We play online, virtually, because we live all over the country and the world.
Yeah, so it's not just COVID.
No, yeah, it's always been virtual,
Right, yeah.
because we've never lived close to each other since we left the academy. But I also love the video games. Like to talk about, I love KOTOR. The Knights of the Old Republic series, Jedi Order is fantastic. I like the RPGs.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm not a big fan of like the Battlefront first-person shooter stuff. I also like the Old Republic MMO. I don't like MMOs in general. I'm not an MMO fan.
I did play that one. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But I did play that one. You're right. And I played a trooper. I think it. Yeah, I played a trooper. And actually, I had almost everything. But I had both Sith. Trooper. That was a lot of fun. That was a good fun.
Yeah, no, I played every single class that came out.
Yeah.
And a couple of them multiple times. And I loved it because it doesn't feel like an MMO because you can play it solo.
Yes, you can.
I don't like playing MMOs. I don't like the feel of them, but I like BioWare and the storytelling elements of RPGs, and the fact that it's fully voiced.
Mm-hmm.
It's like playing the Old Republic, but it's in an MMO.
Right.
And you have multiple storylines you can play. The expansions that they did for the Shadow of Revan expansion, great storyline, and then when they did the Eternal Ember, Knights of the Eternal Throne, and Knights of the Fallen Empire, or whatever. Anyway, but they haven't really done anything significant since then. But I haven't played it in a couple years. But I enjoyed playing it at the time just because I love immersing myself in RPG storytelling of Star Wars. And so definitely the video games, and right on top of that is the RPG I play with my academy buddies. That's how I love to consume it beyond the TV shows and the movies. And then third place, we'll just also say the books. Just because I love the New Thrawn series, of course, Heir to the Empire. Love that series from Timothy Zahn in the 90s because of Thrawn. So, but I don't consume with others, with BattleTech, Warhammer 40K. I read a lot more of their novels than I do of Star Wars novels. For Star Wars novelization, I really have only read Thrawn stuff. But when it comes to 40K or BattleTech, I've read a whole bunch of different books in those series. I don't know what it is about the Star Wars novelization where I'm really focused on just one type. I don't really spread out, so that's why it's a third place for me, the books, because it's not as involved as some other sci-fi universes I like to read.
Right.
All right, so thank you, Philip, for those questions. Next one we have Maxwell Silver. Question for Ben. this is where I get to inflate my ego a little bit.
Yes, he does.
You're very good at tactics and strategies. Thank you. I try to fake it as much as I can.
No, he doesn't.
Do you have a military or naval background? Just curious. You seem to be teaching Rob very well. May the force always guide your dice, lads.
First of all, yes, he is teaching me very well. Even if he has to slam me over the head a couple times, but if you really want to do that, that's off camera, by the way. But
yeah, but I
teaching
don't show that a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I just like, hey, Rob, I'm sure you want to do that.
Rob, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When he does, I'm like, oh, this is so bad. I didn't think it was going to. Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, no, he's been a great teacher, great friend, of course. We've been friends for at least 10 years now. And,
8 years.
8 years. Okay.
That's what I mean. 2 years, 8 years ago.
Okay.
So,
And
almost 10. Yeah, almost there.
And in various war games and stuff
Yeah.
like that. He's been a great teacher, and I've learned a lot of things. And actually, I do mention it in the SRG, the Journal's Quarters, you'll see, that comes up, and I do mention it a couple times when Ben is talking about doing this. I should have done it.
So to answer your question, I have a sort of military background. I've talked about my academy friends, and the reason why I say sort of military background is that I did go to the United States Air Force Academy for 2 years, 2000, 2002. Before that, I was in the Civil Air Patrol, which is kind of like the Boy Scouts before the Air Force.
Okay.
So I was really all gung-ho about getting in the Air Force when I was a teenager, all my life being in the Civil Air Patrol, and then trying to, because I wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Right.
And but when I actually finally got into the academy, I hated it. You know, it was one of those, spent my entire life trying to get in, I hated it, and
like things in most life.
and it was, and also I was a very different person back then, where I was 17 and
Right.
still hadn't developed into the person I am now, so I wasn't very good at maintaining commitment and all that stuff. So it was one of those where I decided not to stick it out. And at the academies, I don't know, I think it might still be this way, but you don't actually sign your commitment to the military.
No.
You have to give your service until the start of your 3rd year.
Okay.
So I quit after 2 years before I had to do that commitment, because I knew that I did not want to do the military as a lifetime thing. So that's why I say sort of military background, because I definitely don't want to diminish the people that actually do serve the
Right.
military, that have actually maintained their commitment and put the work in and put years of their life into service in the military, whether it's United States military or any other military around the world,
Right.
in any other country, because I know a lot of you guys from around the world. Any military service, I think, is very admirable.
It is.
And
It is.
and
We have many friends that actually.
a lot of friends that are actually, again, like my academy buddies.
Yeah.
Some of us, a couple of them, we also left at the same time, but also a lot of them stayed in.
Yep.
And a couple of my friends are still in. I think they might be lifers. They might be doing the 20, 25 years. So.
And then we have Buster, who we.
Neat. Yeah, he was Air Force.
Air Force.
27 years, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. So.
Basically lifer.
But
Right.
I just want to make sure I qualify. Say I did have the regimented and the military structure, learning all that and everything, but I did not commit to it. So I just want to make sure I separate that from people that actually did do actual military service. So, but it did influence a lot of how of my mental thinking, my processes and stuff like that. So
Just to go off what Ben said really quick about the military and stuff like that. Yeah, I call myself a social in general, but I definitely want social in front of it, because I don't want people thinking that I was in the military.
Right.
Because I wasn't.
Well, it's based on battletech, like a question, like last thing.
Exactly.
Like it's the social general, Steiner. That's why it's the joke.
Right. But again, it's also because I don't want to, undermine what other men and women are actually in the military. Because a lot of people from high school of mine, there was almost everybody in the class, men and women, went into the military. They went over to Saudi Arabia when that first started and all that. And I've been stood behind them, all that stuff. I'm a history major, so I really studied the history and stuff like that. I did not study tactics, mind you, but I studied history. Yes, again, that's why I put social in front of the general, and one of the reasons anyway. So it's another reason I guess I didn't mention last time. But.
And then, in addition to that, you're talking about the strategy and tactics. Asking about if I had a military background.
Right.
One thing I really enjoy is I did study combat tactics and military tactics and the history of military tactics in college. While I was at the Air Force Academy, and in addition, when I finished up in civilian university. I have a degree in history. I got it just to graduate. I don't use it for anything, but I enjoyed it, and I focused on military history, starting all the way back with the Greeks and Romans.
Yep.
Their combat tactics and how they formulated their combat tactics. How the Roman tactics are still used to this day, and how militaries regiment themselves, and all the way up through history to modern. Especially, I like focusing on World War II combat tactics and strategies. So I did a lot of that in college, studying that and different generals and commanders. And I still like doing it. I still like reading books on military strategy, etc.
Yeah.
I did take the plunge into the Art of War, Sun Tzu. It's a tough read, but it's still foundational military strategy to this day.
I read that book.
But yeah, that's also where a lot of that comes from. It's just a thing that I enjoy. That's why I like wargaming, that actually have strategy and tactics. Like we like playing Axis and Allies, and BattleTech has a lot of. Well, Warhammer is not really strategy. Warhammer is just throwing cells at each other.
But there is strategy.
But like BattleTech, especially, and Axis and Allies, especially Twilight Imperium, there's a lot of that high strategy and subtactics and stuff that I really enjoy in those types of games. So, but yeah, so that's where that background comes, and a bit more of my personal background when it comes to that and how those things kind of developed. So, thank you, Maxwell, for that question.
Thanks, Maxwell.
And also thank you for inflating my ego with the first part of your question, because it's not big enough yet. All right, so next we have Matt Soms. Now that you have both run a number of submitted fleets from viewers, what ship, upgrade, or card combos that you liked, or did you like, or were surprised by, and would you use it in your own fleet building now?
Well, I'll have to say it was a skilled officer. That one really surprised me. I kept looking at it going, why? I'm going to use this. And then one of our reps, a subscriber, sent us, I'm sorry, I don't have his name right now.
Was that, I think it was John Turner's list?
Might have been John Turner's. I'm sorry if I get it wrong.
I think I was right.
Anyway, when Ben said, oh yeah, I'll change the top dial because it was a crit that I got. And I was like, oh no, but then I looked, wait, I got skilled officers. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't do the other one, by the way.
It was,
and I was like, we use them to get engineering.
Yeah.
And save them a little bit longer.
You know, it's kind of an interesting irony, because at the beginning of the game, before I started filming, or when I were talking, like, why does he have skill for officers?
Yeah.
That shit.
So
it doesn't make any sense. Because it was a Radis drop, right? And it was the ship that the Radis would drop, had skilled first officer on it, and it's like, we're sending your down as soon as you drop anyway, so why don't you need skilled first officer? You're just kind of like, I don't know. But then came up in the game where it's like, Rob needed it, and it worked. It was great. So it was like, well, there you go. Who knows?
Exactly.
It's one of those,
Again, something that put about. So that was definitely a surprise, and definitely one that I'll be looking at.
Yeah.
Not sure how much I would use it, to be honest, but it'd be one I'll be looking at, definitely put in there. There's so many great officers, so that's the problem. And that is the problem. There's so many great officers. So it depends on what I'm doing. And what I'm deciding the fleet to do. So, yeah, that's all I got for me.
Yeah, mine would be the hard sell. I had great respect for the hard sell. I've been playing against it. But I played a hard sell swarm against Robbie's double Starhawk, triple Salvo list that was also subscriber submitted list. And I was surprised at how well a hard sell swarm did against large, powerful ships like the Starhawk. And how, when not facing a ridiculous list, like double Starhawk with triple salvos on each one, how absolutely brutal a hard sell swarm can be. And that was 4 hard cells in Munificent. And you could really, if you just wanted to, you go even take the Munificent out and just put even more hard cells and just all of those red die, doing the battle refits. It's one of those where I just got a vastly better appreciation and also respect for, like, now when I have to face that against that, because I'm not going to be playing it much because I'm not a separatist player, but playing as it, a hard cell swarm, is seeing how effective it is, and also being able to prepare to face that now, and how that it's going to be very deadly, especially with some of these new commanders coming out. Like a new commander like Martuk, which you guys would have seen yesterday in the bat rep that you guys watched with Robbie and myself. We debuted Mark II. And we talked about this in the post game. Think of a hard cell swarm with Mark II. So you're getting 3 red dice normally out the front. Mark II, you'd add a red if you're shooting shields, which you're doing for the first half of the game anyway. Maybe put spinal on it.
Yep.
So now you got 5 red.
5 red, yeah.
And then you con fire 6 red dice and 5 or 6 hard cells. So 6 red dice 6 times.
Yes, that's quite deadly.
And if you want to make sure you have rerolls, don't do spinal. Put turbo laser towers on it, so now you have 5 red dice. On it. Just a hard cell swarm is that was just like an eye opener for me when I actually played it. Just realizing how effective they can be. So that'll probably be the ship that in the strategy, because I'm not a big swarm player when it comes to ships. I like swarming squads, because foundationally Imperial players don't play. There are swarm places play swarm, like I know like Krabic loves doing his Arcton swarm.
Oh yeah,
and people like with like gladiators and stuff. But
I think I've seen Mad Cat play with the Arctons as well. Yeah.
But that's not my style with Imperials, and most I think Imperial players play with you got the Star Destroyer within support, or maybe big ships moving around, not swarms. Or Rebels are used to playing swarm play, and now a Separatist, an option, a very valid option is swarm play. So it just gave me an appreciation overall, not just with hard cells, but with Rebels. Just in general, the concept of swarm play with ships, and thinking of that as a valid way to play, and also as I knew it was a valid way to play before because I'd faced it and I knew it was deadly, but learning how to play it.
But that just cemented it.
Cemented it, yes, that's what it cemented the respect for swarm play. And it's a different way to play. I had to really rethink how I play when I play a swarm list, whether it's hard cells or when I try to play Rebels with small ships. Because you can't throw them in front of people like you can with the Star Destroyer, just take the hits. It's a very different way to maneuver and plan it out the strategies and the tactics of the game. So, that would be mine. Then there's a second part here from Matt Sons asking, this is for Ben. As for your ideal list for Thrawn, so it's basically my basic Thrawn build with my TIE Defenders, Chimera, etc. You guys have seen me talk about this before. What do you see as your kryptonite or your greatest weakness in that fleet?
Yes, I would like to know this too.
So it's a very strong build, like my basic Thrawn build that I ideally like, but it also does have some weaknesses. The first and foremost is when I'm building it the ideal way that I like, it's only 2 ship list. It's a Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and then it's a Quasar as another carrier. So 2 ship lists are always very risky to play, because every loss is massive, especially the big one. If you lose the Chimera, I'm done. That's all. I think the Chimera, the way I build it, is 195 points. Almost half my entire fleet is 1 ship. So I have to be very. It's one of those that even though it's it's a strong list, I have to be careful how I place. Like I was just saying, a lot of times the Star Destroyers you can just throw them in front of somebody. I can't do that with that list because my Star Destroyer is my Christmas tree. It's everything in my fleet. So I have to be very judicious and careful not to overextend myself and to fall into traps. I have to be very careful with my maneuvering.
I'm sorry. There was one point where I was going to speak on where you said maneuvering and stuff. Again, I finished that rapid as I should have done. But his Thrawn ship almost died.
Yeah,
you flying not off the board, but you were flying like to the right or your left, guys, I guess, on the screen here, and I had them down to like 2 or 3 or something like that.
Very close.
And I had a few ships that could actually hit. Of course, my dice failed me. The force went out with my dice there, but Maxwell. Anyways, so there was and I couldn't believe it when he said that, Rob, you could get them down. I was like, oh, no way. Strong shit, Chimera, no, come on. So there is one way.
Yeah, well, so that's just talking about weaknesses. That's just a weakness, having only 2 ships, and one being just having 1 ship that is just so kitted out and central to the build that it is the goal of your opponent to take out. There's not a lot of they don't have to like, man, who do I go after? You go after Thrawn. If you take him out, my entire fleet falls apart. But it's not going to be easy to take him out. I'm going to be very careful and smart with him.
Right.
But that's it. Again, it puts one target on my back. There's not multiple targets I have to worry about. The second weakness is I'm not going to say it's the defenders because it's sort of the defenders. The defenders are very strong, as you guys know.
Right.
Defenders, I love defenders. My opponents keep seeing it when I bring defenders.
I do.
Especially with the bat rep you guys saw a few weeks back. The 600 point game when I finally got 6 defenders because Maxwell sent me 2. Very generous, thank you again. 6 defenders are brutal, but the downside to that, with that list actually, if you would have actually, we talked about some of the mistakes you made in that.
Yeah.
If you would have done that the way you had planned,
Right.
it was a Biggs ball, a genuine Biggs ball, X-Wings, Biggs, Jan Ors. If you would have been able to get that and drop them into my defenders,
Yes.
my basic Thrawn build does not have intel or grit, so they will be trapped.
Mm-hmm.
So the weakness of that is that if it's the whole part of my basic Thrawn build is that I have to be patient and very careful and choose when I engage. Because if I engage too early with my defenders,
right,
they can get locked down if I send them into the wrong ball of squads.
Right.
Like, I was very worried in that game about the Biggs ball that I was going to get trapped and my defenders would get locked down. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. But that is a weakness because I like to keep my squads together in formation. I don't like spreading them out. I like keeping them together in formation so they can work together as a unit. But if you send a sufficient number of squads in there that can take the hits, like a Biggs ball can, lock them down, that neuters probably 70% of my game plan. Because the game plan of my Thrawn build is squad play with the defenders and setting up shots with the Chimera.
Yes.
So if you can, if I face a list with good counter squads, that'll just tie me up long enough to where my defenders aren't putting kicks on other ships or dropping valuable bombers. Like you just send in throwaway squads while your bombers are over here, and I, didn't measure my distances right. Now my defenders are locked down, and your bombers are free to roam to come after the Chimera or my Quasar. That's a problem. So, I guess overall between those two things, talking points, the 2 ship list and defenders potentially being overextended.
Right.
The weakness of my standard Thrawn build is if I lose patience.
Which is very hard for Ben to lose patience. I've noticed, by the way.
Well, it happens.
It has happened.
But
it has.
it's one of those. Patience is key with that list.
Right. My Martha was a good.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It was when I messed up with the Pelta. But it's one of those with that list is that if I get impatient, it'll fall apart quick.
Right.
I have to be very patient. Choose my. And also I have to be very careful with deployment.
Right.
Because I will be out deployed every game.
I think that's everything, though. I don't think that's just your Thrawn.
But the thing is, since it's only a 2 ship list, I only have 2 deployments.
Right, no, I understand.
So, granted, I have the squads that can help, but it's still only 6, it's only a total of 5 deployments, where a lot of times if I face like a hard sell swarm or rebel list or whatever, they're going to have 6 to 7, even more deployments, so you can dictate where they are on the battlefield. So, it's one of those where, usually with that, I pick a corner, just to keep you in front of me, and then, but it's, but yeah, so I hope that kind of answered your question.
What about missions, though? What missions? Just in case Matt wanted to know about that.
So missions,
do you keep the same ones, or do you change them up?
Pretty much the same. I keep them very basic, and actually, for if I'm wanting to play serious. Now, if I want to just switch things up just for fun,
fine, right? Yeah.
But like, if let's say I was taking this to a tournament,
right?
I pick a advanced gunnery, which great. If you want to pick that, give Chimera 2 shots out the front.
Yeah.
But I would love that. But that's not getting picked. Then Solar Corona, which might get picked, but Solar Corona completely negates the one major disadvantage, which is deployment. Which means I get to watch them deploy everything, then I get to counter deploy them.
Right.
And then I guess since I want to play corner play with this fleet, I take the corner, put the sun at my back, and then good to go. And then the other one is planetary ion cannon,
Really?
Yep, and that's the yellow one, and that's because two reasons. One, there is no benefit whatsoever to the first player on that
Right.
one, and the second reason was it just gives me more firepower.
Right.
So I'm getting basically, I think it's 3 tokens, so basically I get 3 shots with the ion cannon just to add to my firepower into the opposing fleet. They're also very basic.
Yes.
It's the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
And so if I ever go to a tournament with that build, with my Thrawn build, which actually if I do go to a tournament, it will be with my standard Thrawn build.
I do think so.
And those will probably be the missions I pick.
Maybe the flag guns, though.
It is going to have flight.
Yeah.
It's,
So that might be the only difference in the standard.
so it's part of the standard build.
Upgrade.
It's already
Upgrade.
in the standard build.
Okay. That's
So-
my question.
Yeah. So anyway, that's yep. So that's how those are the missions I picked, just to keep it simple, but also just to maximize my advantage and minimize the advantage to my opponent. Type of thing. So. All right. Well, thank you, Matt Songs.
Yes, thank you, man.
All right. Moving on, we have Jurgen GDB. As the Clone Wars waves come out, do you see a wave of villains and heroes squadron pack? If so, who and what types of squadrons do you see coming out? Personally, I would like to see an equivalent of a Sith ship or the likes of, say, Ventress. I agree with that for sure.
Oh, so do I, yes.
For those that have saw our last AMA, we kind of answered this before. But for those of you that didn't, I mean, there were a lot of new people on the channel, so we'll talk about it again. And yes, I absolutely do see a villains and heroes pack coming for Clone Wars.
And so do I.
Yeah.
And out of those, since we answered the first one, I see Fenround with a Skull Squadron coming out, or as a Skull Squadron, not the other. I really want to see, and I know this is not like a heroes villains thing, but the Naboo 1 Starfighter.
Yep.
I mean, I think it should be in there. I just think it should be in there.
Oh, I don't know if that'll be in the villains.
No, I know.
That might be in like the Republic 2 squad
Right.
pack. We'll get the Naboo fighters, but yeah.
But that's just something that needs to come out.
Yeah.
It just needs to come out. So I guess that's me. That's just thing. But Darth Maul and the Scimitar.
Yep, Darth Maul absolutely has to be in that.
I mean, he was in the movies. He was a big part.
Yep.
Ventress and her Genie Vex fan blade. I do what you're trying to, the one you're thinking of there, and that is a nice one. Yeah, I do like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a couple others that again would probably be in the other packs. Would be the Genosian Nantex, and then the HH-87 Starhopper ships, fighters. I think, and again, that was in the last one that I mentioned that, but these I think are definitely squadrons that need to come out. Whether heroes and villains or they're the packs for each separatist or republic. But yeah, I definitely think those guys definitely have to come out. And as we mentioned before, probably Dooku.
Yep, I think we'll get Dooku.
Kind of.
I think we get Dooku. I think we're gonna get Jango Fett in the Slave One.
Yeah, I could see Jango Fett. Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
And then all the ones you said. But yeah, I think the only ones I would add would be Jango. Excuse me.
So I can't really think. I mean, yeah, you could say Yoda, and you could say.
No, I don't think we're going to see Yoda.
But
I think we'll see Yoda as a commander.
Yes.
I think we'll see Yoda as a commander at some point.
Or at least an officer.
Alright. That just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
He's got to be a commander. He's got to be a commander.
Yeah. Anyway.
But,
we're not going to follow that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We'll do that later.
But yeah, the ones that you all said, and I think for sure we're going to get villains heroes pack. And
yeah, I mean we have to.
Yeah. If you guys watched our unboxing of the Venator, they're gonna have to have Assault.
Yes.
Because there's a certain upgrade card in the Venator pack that can't even use right now, half of it, because there's no Assault yet.
Right.
So we need to get some Assault. So I think we'll be seeing Assault on those as well when they come out.
Yeah.
So. Yep. So thank you, Jurgen, and hopefully we can see announcements of those. Maybe the end of this year we can see announcements. Maybe that'd be awesome to see some more previews of that.
We are hoping.
Yes, we are hoping. Alright, next we have Beaker. For both of you guys, would you ever consider doing a series of videos playing out a Rebellion in the Rim or Corellian conflict campaign for the channel? Might be cool to explore a bit of that since most don't do that.
Well, actually, it came up about a month or two ago, maybe a month ago, I think, that Ben and I were talking about it, and I said, Ben, wouldn't it be kind of fun to do a building with the rim? If we could do like a campaign on that, that'd be kind of cool. And so, we have to wait for a few other people. There are people that we're asking for their schedules to clear and such. And then Ben is looking into, again, Ben, if I'm going to step my mouth and step in and say things for you, please let me know. He's looking for some basically good ways to take video or photographs of like the maps, for instance, and stuff, so that we can tell what's going on without trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I want to do a Rebellion in the Ring campaign, and we have the people. I mean, we played Rebellion. We've already done it with you, myself. You've met the Professor Albert. You see Buster, and Buster's wife Carrie. We've done 2 campaigns,
right?
And before that, years ago, we did Rebellion conflict campaigns.
Yes.
So we played them. The thing with doing that campaign, I want to do it, but it's logistics is the problem.
It is, it really is.
So it's the combination of logistics of scheduling multiple people to be able to
problem anywhere
to set up to set up an entire day.
Right.
Because if we're gonna dedicate to filming that, I'm gonna want to film multiple battles in one sitting.
Right.
Because Rebellion in the Room battles are smaller. And the way that we used to play, when we played it, we'd actually have 2 maps and we played battles simultaneously.
Right.
That would not work for filming. So we'd have to film each battle individually, and then reset, set up the next battle, reset, set up the next battle, etc. And again, I like to do multiple battles in one day of filming, so that I can then have. That way, we're not wasting,
the weekend per se.
Because it's so rare for us to be able to have free time together.
Right.
So it's going to come down to logistics. Is the only thing. I will say this. It will happen.
Yes.
I don't know when it will happen. I can tell right now it's not happening in the summer. It's not just from normal us getting bad and stuff, but just my personal schedule. I can tell you right now, I'm going to be very busy this summer. I found out, and with my wife as well. We got a very busy summer playing just as other stuff that we're doing that has nothing to do with the channel. There's no way I can schedule that. Just myself, let alone trying to get Rob and Buster and Albert. Maybe in the fall, but so I'm hoping maybe in the fall we might be able to figure something out where it might be if we can schedule it to where we can meet once a month on a weekend, on a Saturday, film a whole bunch of video battles, and do like the beginning of the turn, the campaign turn, do the map planning, film the battles that go with that, then and maybe get 2 turns filmed in a day. That way I can have enough content for a month to release, and then the next month we can then film the next series. So not going to happen in the summer, but maybe in the fall we might be able to work out a scheduling where we can get that set up, because I would love to do it. I love Rebellion in the Rim.
Oh yes,
it's absolutely fantastic. If you have not played it before,
please do.
I highly recommend it if you have even just one friend.
Yes.
Because actually Tilly and I, Chris, another friend of ours, I don't know if we'll ever get him on the channel. He doesn't live here anymore. But
we might be able to
figure something out. Anyway. But we actually played a Corellian conflict campaign where we each controlled 3 fleets.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool.
I was Empire, he was Rebellion. We each just made 3 separate fleets and we just played. So it's absolutely fun. You can play with 2 people, and just play multiple fleets. It's more fun when you have multiple fleets going around on the strategic board and planning. And the missions for the campaign missions, which are the green missions, are so much more thematic and fun. Much more enjoyable. So. And it's really fun actually to build up your fleet, and you get veterans, and you also get scarred and injuries. So there's so many cool things about it. Highly recommend it. And I'm going to try very hard this fall to maybe debut a Rebellion in the Ring campaign. Once this insane summer that I didn't realize was going to be an insane summer. It's going to be an insane summer. It's past. So, but after that, see if we can't get that worked out, because I would love to do it.
Exactly. Yes. And it'd be a lot of fun.
Yes. All right, next we have the cargo hold, which, by the way, is Zach, my brother-in-law. I didn't realize that he changed his name on YouTube.
Really? You didn't know?
No, I didn't realize that was Zach.
I kind of got it with his signature.
Oh, yeah?
Facts,
No, yeah, yes, but I didn't realize that was the cargo hold was him until I read this question.
Right.
So he's made a couple other comments.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, Zach, I didn't realize you had changed your name. So
Exactly. I'm obviously more precise.
Yes.
Okay.
So question for Rob.
Yes.
We are fully aware of Ben's preference and admiration for Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Chimera title. Who is your favorite commander and ship title? Zach V, my brother-in-law. P.S. Remember, there's always room for one more in the cargo hold. Get those bounties.
Right.
Load them up.
No, is it?
All right. So your favorite commander and ship title?
My favorite commander is Akbar. Several reasons why I really liked him ever since I saw him in the Battle of Endor. I just don't know. He just clicked with me. I liked him. And I love the broadside ships, and I love the MC Command cruiser that has Home 1 title on it. To get that accuracy, just change one. For me, it's a lot of blanks. To get one accuracy in there to stop, say, scatter, if it's a Gazanti, for instance, I'm shooting, or maybe even a brace or a redirect or whatever. I need to stop. So I just love that ship. I just love the broadsides. As a ship, I have problems with maneuvering it, but that's going to take practice. That's all. It's a very hard ship. It's very slow.
Yeah,
So,
and with Home 1, Home 1 doesn't affect itself, so
No.
you need to make sure you have a good fleet around it, so you're actually getting use out of the Home 1
Right.
title.
And don't put torn fire on it. But anyways, I'll come back to my video that will come up later. Anyways, so yeah, that's mine there.
And it's thematic. I love it. It's Akbar in Home 1.
Yeah,
That's his ship.
that's my
So it's
ship.
like, being Thrawn and Chimera,
Yeah.
that's his ship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's the first one that actually then when he was teaching me the game, he actually, boom, there you go.
Now I know you like that. I gave him Akbar
Yeah.
in Home 1, gave him some Y-Wings because he likes
Yeah.
the Y-Wings. So that was the
Yeah.
introductory game years ago. I see
Yeah.
him how to play.
Yeah, here's something teaching me to play. So yeah, so that's mine, and I just like him the way he is.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I just do.
And Zach, go ahead, cargo hold, aka cargo hold. You can, why don't you, right back at you. Comment what your favorite commander ship. I know you haven't had many games.
Well, yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to hopefully get Zach on the channel. He's still very, very new to Armada,
Mm-hmm.
but he's getting the Clone Wars stuff now too.
Oh.
I think we've only gotten 2 games in, and they were only like 200-point games on the basics.
Yes.
Next time I can get down to his place when I visit my sister, and we can get the scheduling right to maybe do an introductory battle rep with Zach. But I know you haven't played much, Zach, but just based off of just theory crafting, looking at the upgrade
Yep.
cards as you've been getting your models in, what do you think your favorite ship and commander is going to be, and ship title? So yeah, so put that in the comments below, Zach.
Zach, you want a rematch, right? For
Yeah, Twilight Imperium.
Twilight, but why don't I challenge you to a Clone Wars match?
Hey, well, we
For the channel.
need to try to set that up. Maybe get you to come up
Alright.
here, Zach.
I know you come up here. Don't tell me you don't. You come up here.
Yeah, get you up here, and you guys can do Clone
Yeah.
Wars.
Mhm.
If you do Clone Wars stuff that you guys are
Yeah.
getting in. So, yeah, we might have to set that up the next few
Exactly,
weeks.
yeah.
Get that to work.
So we
So.
can mark it.
Alright, well, thank you, Zach, aka the Cargo Hold.
Like exactly.
Alright, next we have Joe Askew. Question for both of you. If you could add in one ship from any era, even those not in the games at the moment, and from canon or legends, what ship would it be, and roughly what would it look like with stats, unique upgrades, etc.?
Well, I'm gonna say one that I think you've said before, and it's probably gonna make Ben smile. It would be the Assault Frigate Mark I that was the Dreadnought in Rebels. But that's the same stats, I'm sorry. I mean, there's no reason to change the stats on it because it really should have been the one we got. And we didn't.
Yep.
So, and looking at that ship, it's a beautiful ship,
Yeah.
first of all.
Such a
And
wasted opportunity.
it's canon. I mean, I don't even know where the other one came from,
I have
You
no
seen the
idea.
mashed potato? The potato for it?
I have no idea where it came from either. I don't even care to know.
No, I'm sure you don't, yes.
It's,
But, yeah, that's the one that...
Salt Frigate Mark 1 just force everybody to have to trash their Salt Frigate Mark 2 models and then just buy the Mark 1 models and don't change any stats.
Yeah.
I think it's a great
That's
ship
not big.
stat-wise, and then what people do anyway. I know that people do have 3D printed models and paint them up, but I'm not a painter. So, but
You
it's,
know
but yeah, I'd love to see the Salt Frigate Mark 1.
Right. That would make it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I have to admit, even though I just like the ship, the Mark II, by the way, but the stats and such, and the way it maneuvers and everything else, and even the lore, they didn't really change it that much, to be honest. They took the droids out, basically, and actually, no, I think they added droids in it. But anyways. And they put the fins on to make it more maneuverable, which would basically explain why the potato is so maneuverable in my eyes. So,
I think you're reaching there, man, but yeah.
am I
sure.
right? Look it up, man. Look it up. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. I mean, it's Star Wars, and you put fins on a ship to make it maneuverable in space. Yeah, that's
I know. Exploding up in space too, right?
and sound.
And sound,
Space,
and
so, exactly.
force. Even you can use the force to float through space back into holes. But
So the well, I mean, that's actually, I mean, it's the force.
yeah, right. That was. Anyways, come on, your turn.
So mine is going to be another, not really a rebel ship. It's a New Republic ship. It's the Nebula class Star Destroyer. Fantastic looking ship. It's also fantastic functionally. It's a ship that's currently not canon yet. Again, it's Legends, but it was a melding of Imperial technology. This is like decades. I think it's decades, maybe a decade or two after Battle of Endor, and the New Republic had basically melded Imperial Star Destroyer with Mon Caltech.
Wow.
And basically made it for it's smaller than Imperial Star Destroyer, but it's just as powerful. Shields of a Mon Cal ship, and the maneuverability of like a frigate. And it also had this specialized ion cannon on the front. It was like a super ion cannon on the front that could disable ships with one shot type of thing. And it looks great. I'll see if I can find a model. Some people have done some 3D models of it to put it into Armada. And I think it would be, even though I'd love for it to be a large ship, because it was deliberately designed to be smaller and more maneuverable than a Star Destroyer, I think it probably would make more sense as a medium ship, the size of the Victory. Okay. But even I would say maybe even on a large ship, maybe the size of a Venator, actually. Okay. But I think it looks fantastic. I love the design of it. It still looks like a Star Destroyer. You can tell it came from the Star Destroyer design, but it's more sleek and smooth. You can tell it has some Mon Cal rounded edges to it. And yeah, I would love to see that. And I think it should have a similar, profile out the front as a Star Destroyer, maybe one less dice, because it's supposed to be similar firepower, just in a smaller package. No, a little bit more than a Victory. Okay. And I think should have the maneuverability of like a good medium ship. I would even go as far as to say it would be like very unique, where it'd be a large ship with speed 4, because it was very fast and maneuverable. As far as I'm aware, it was the most technologically advanced ship in Star Wars canon. Not the largest or most powerful, but most technologically advanced. And it was actually very key in helping defeat the Yuuzhan Vong, along with like the Viscount Super Mon Cal version of the Super Star Destroyer and other ships. But it was I love that ship. I just love it. And it's even though it's not Empire, but
I was about to say that.
It's one of those. I'd love to see that come in for the Rebels, basically as a New Republic ship, and just for it to be small, fast. It would need to be. I would say it need to be as expensive as a Star Destroyer.
Yes,
because to reflect its advanced technology. That's another thing I like about it, because in Star Wars, so this is where Star Wars differs from Star Trek. Star Trek has advanced technology that progresses constantly in the shows and the lore, because it's a technologically or scientifically encouraged universe.
Yep.
Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy,
Mhm.
and it's based around these massive galactic empires and governments that have stagnated.
Right.
The ships of the Clone Wars,
Mhm.
the technology really isn't that much different from the technology of the Empire. It's just maybe we've gotten bigger,
Right.
maybe adding a bigger gun,
Yeah.
but it's still the same technology.
Mhm.
The reason why I like the Nebula class Star Destroyers, when it was introduced,
Mhm.
there were actually leaps in technological advancements that
Right.
happened with that,
Right.
which is why I like it so much when it first came out and I was first reading about it in the books. And that it was actually like, oh, this is actual technological and scientific innovation happening.
Mhm.
It's not just saying we're taking this design and just making it bigger with a bigger power source. We're
Right.
actually innovating.
Yes.
So I would love to see the Nebula class Star Destroyer with basically high advanced technology, but make it cost the way it needs to cost it. We need
Yes.
to make sure you cost it right. So
Right. So yeah, that'd be expensive. I agree because of the power it had.
in such a small package.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. You said you didn't want to be a large ship. That cost that much.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
interesting.
it would be a very unique ship. I think we have unique and interesting abilities because of the scientific advancements it had
Yes.
and innovations that it had. So.
That's a good one. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a break real quick, mainly so I can check the battery and check the fluids real quick. And we're not quite halfway through, so we're almost halfway
Yeah.
through. But we're going to take about a 10-15 minute break. For you guys, it'll just be a few seconds. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
And we are with our next question from PLT998. Wondering if that's an acronym for something. Wonder what PLT stands for. And several questions here. So, I have 3 questions for you both. The first one, what's your favorite change since 1.5? What's your least favorite change since 1.5? And what cards do you think should have been changed or had their values increased, decreased that weren't? So basically, 1.5 questions, favorite change, least favorite change, and then some cards that should have been different or maybe got changed incorrectly or whatever.
Okay. So my favorite change, and when I was talking about Ben this off screen, was I was trying to remember when 1.5 came out, believe it or not, because the whole COVID thing kind of threw everything off. But anyways, my favorite change would be where aces were limited. Rebels, especially, and yes, I play Rebel, and I know I'm probably, you play Rebel, come on, man. I'm happy that they actually limited to each for 100.
Yeah.
For 100, that's it, 100. Because, yes, I do remember playing where I had a bunch of aces. And to me, I did not learn squadrons because I had mostly the aces or rogues. And so I did not learn how to use squadrons.
You played a lot of rogue aces and just
Right.
spammed that.
Right. So it really hurt me more than anything else. So that's my favorite change would be to change the aces, make it more different.
Yeah, my favorite change by far and away is change to evade. So getting to where evade works at close range to reroll, and then if you discard it, if you're defending against a ship larger than your class, you can double the effect. And I think that is probably the best change. He's my favorite. Helps small ships survive.
Yeah, which helps rebels survive.
Yep. But also it made the Raider good.
Yes.
I love the Raider. It's my favorite small ship. But I also before 1.5, I played it a lot, and I knew it wasn't great.
Right.
I knew it had difficulty, but now with the changes to evade, it makes it much more survivable. And I love Iden Versio, and putting Iden on a Raider with double evade with the new changes to 1.5 with evade just makes my Iden Versio Raider even more survivable and viable, and actually a really, really good ship. So I think the evade to 1.5 was a fantastic change just to across the board.
Right.
It helped to reduce. You still have to be careful; it can still happen.
Yeah.
But it reduced the amount of times when a small ship would be stuck in front or the side. It's like a Mon Cal ship and then just get one-shotted by these massive, large ships.
Right.
Just the ability, close range. Even though rerolls don't guarantee it's going to save you, it helps.
It helps. It does. So
the ability to discard to get 2 rerolls, or if you're at long range, you're getting hit by a Simoon or an Akbar shot. 6, 7 red dice coming in. You can just discard. And you're even going to get rid of 2 dice. I just think it's really good for the game to help the survivability of small ships to change the game. So that was easily my favorite change that happened.
It was a great balance.
Great balance. My least favorite change. This is kind of a tough one because I think as I was discussing with advanced gunnery, not advanced gunnery, but gunnery teams and electronic countermeasures, and with other changes like that, I think 1.5 was overall a really great update to the game.
Yeah. Yes. Good balance.
Gosh, I'm trying to think. There are some specific card changes I didn't like, but I'm going to talk about in the card part, which I guess I can talk about this now. We don't have to keep it completely sectioned out. So I guess I'll just roll this into what I think should have been changed with cards, or maybe got changed too much. That's the Avenger title is 1. So the Avenger title used to be broken. It was way back when Armada started. That was again another auto take. Everyone took it when you ran Star Destroyers as Avenger. And the original title was that if you're being attacked by Avenger, you cannot spend defense tokens that have been exhausted.
Right.
Okay? And it was not exhaustible back then. It was just if you double arc somebody, you can hit him and then hit him again.
Yeah.
And both times they can't spend their exhausted defense token.
You're plug and play.
Yeah. Then it got changed where it was, I think it was exhaustible. So you activated Avenger, you exhausted, so only one of your attacks. And then, and that's where I think it should have stayed. So this is where I guess I do have a least favorite change. So then in 1.5 they changed it again.
Yeah.
So I think it's still exhaustible, so you can only do it once. And now when you get hit by Avenger, you can't spend more than 1 exhausted defense token.
Yeah.
So super neutered Avenger, way too much.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, they didn't change the point cost. They didn't reduce the point cost on it.
Really?
So it still costs the same amount of points. So I think they should have left Avenger where it was when they did the first FAQ on it, where they made it to where it's exhaustible. So where you attack with Avenger once, or one of your attacks with Avenger, you get to stop them from spending any exhausted defense tokens. The fact that they neutered it to where, it's a useless card now. Who cares that you can only get to spend 1? Most players only have 1 exhausted defense token,
right?
So they can spend it anyway. So it's, I think that was a very big, just going too far. Another one is, come on. I think it's Corruptor. It's a victory. I don't like the victory. You guys know it, but there's a victory title called, I think it's Corruptor. It's 12 points, ridiculous cost for what it does. But you get to add extra blue dice out of your forward arc, and it's okay. It's a good card, but not for 12 points. They should have dropped the points cost to. I think I'm getting the right name. It's Corruptor. Maybe not half, maybe down to 8, but 12 points. That's Demolisher level. That's more than Demolisher actually. It's just this thing costs more than Demolisher, and it's not even nearly in the ballpark as being effective as Demolisher. And they really should have dropped. I think overall, some of the titles for the Imperials should have had points reductions. They just didn't touch any of them. Some of them.
Right.
There are a lot. There's several Imperial titles that didn't get touched that should have been at least just point reductions.
Right.
If they're just not going to change it. But the biggest one, and again my biggest beef, because I love the Adventure title. I was okay with the first nerf, the first FAQ, making it just exhaustible, so it's just 1 of your attacks. I thought that was fair. But making it to where now it's, your defender can still spend an exhausted defense, so once it's only 1, it's just like, well, what's the point now of even having this title? It's completely worthless. So that would be my card that I think you either need to drop that point value down to like a 2, make the Avenger 2 points, just ultra cheap. I mean, or just go back to the way it was in the mid of its evolution rate. So exhaustible, but you still get to stop them from spending any exhausted defense tokens for one of the shots. So that's probably my biggest one for sure. So
I can't think of one. To be honest,
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's. But overall, I think 155 was great. I think it was a home run all the way around. The changes they made, all around, fantastic update to the game. So, thank you, PLT 998. All right. So next we have XR8 are great. I'm not sure what an XR8 is, but apparently they're great. So maybe you can comment in the comments below about maybe that has some sort of meaning. So considering in all the Star Wars movies, the Rebels rely on squadrons, why do you think they haven't had an admiral that is focused on squadrons in the game? I don't consider Sato a squadron admiral as he buffs ships. I would agree with that.
I agree too. And I actually was wondering the same thing, to be honest. I mean, you see the Rebels have so many squadrons out there in the movies and everything else. Not that the Empire doesn't. I mean, Empire's a lot too. But why don't they have one?
Yeah, I mean, but that's their strength. That's their Rebel strength is their superior fighters.
But then I was trying to think, who would be the commander?
Oh, I got two right off the top of my head.
Okay, what'd you do with it?
General Hera Syndulla.
Oh, yes, that's true.
She could be a squadron commander. She was in Rebels,
Right.
led squads all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to be a commander for the Rebels and be squadron focused. And Wedge.
But yes, and that comes back to our box opening when we talk about Ahsoka
Yeah.
being an officer, and then of course, if she's a commander or Wedge. If Wedge is a commander or a squadron, there's probably going to be a better chance of choosing between officer and squadron.
Right.
But now what would you give them
So I
what
think
would they do?
so. The Wedge officer was a big missed opportunity. I think his ability is kind of weak, especially for the points cost. But I think Wedge as a commander would be fantastic for something like someone maybe like Plo Koon's ability, where you get all your squads get a bonus die, or all your squads get a free reroll, or all the squads in your fleet gain maybe a keyword.
Okay.
Like all of your squadrons gain maybe escort, or maybe something,
Yes.
or bomber maybe, or swarm. Maybe all of your squads gain swarm because they're all working together, which would probably put in the reroll thing.
But then aren't we copying Sloan in a way?
No, not at all. That's not even close.
That's
to
the
Sloan.
only thing I want to make sure we don't copy.
Yeah, that's not even close to what Sloan does. It'll be completely unique.
Okay.
Basically giving, like Wedge, I think, because it just makes sense. Wedge is the best pilot
Yes.
in the galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
and he led Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
And after Endor, he was the squadron leader of all the New Republic forces.
Yes.
So he totally needs to be made a commander.
Right.
And I think some sort of like squadron-wide fleet buff. I think maybe it could be maybe more complicated, but give more nuance. But just off the top of my head, just like give a keyword. I think maybe giving swarm,
Yeah.
and it just swarm, and it works against ships too. Just make it make him like a 30-point commander, to where it's like the Voodoo B title, but that's just for what the Voodoo B is commanding.
Right.
And I think it's just for bombers, maybe. I can't remember. I have to look at it. But I think it's. But anyway, but Wedge would be like all of your squads get swarm, and swarm works against ships.
Squadrons are ship power.
Yeah, and it's just. I think that would be just, and that would fit with Wedge, because Wedge is overall just organizing and coordinating the squadrons. He's training them. They're working together. Hera, I'm not sure what her abilities would be, but Hera could be like this could be way too powerful, but all of your squadrons have rogue.
No,
it's kind of like her squad
that's
thing.
breaking.
That would be breaking the game.
That's breaking the rule of only so many rogues.
That would break. Well, no, you think about aces, but
but still, it'd be probably.
But that would be broken.
Yeah, that'd be broken.
Something like that. But I think Hera or Wedge would thematically make sense to be a squadron commander of the Rebels. and they need one.
They do.
And I'll be honest, I don't care what the rules are, but they need to have a squadron-focused commander.
Yes.
And it's very surprising that they don't, because squadrons, fighters, was core to their strategy. It was the foundation of the rebel strategy. So, very, very odd.
Now, what I've been doing for squadrons, and I mentioned this in the last AMA, I believe, that we're talking about what's my squadron build, or what my perfect squadron build would be. So, and as I mentioned, I said I was coming up with one, which will be debuting with against Buster actually. And I took the commander Leia, because Leia gives you, the dial will give you a token. Doesn't give you a token, but acts like you have a token. So it'll be one extra, basically, squadron will be activated. So that is what I'm doing for the rebels right now. So we shall see. But and she's on a command four, commands 4 squadron ship too. So they'll get the 5. Plus they'll have a hangar base as well. So that'll be 6. So, so 6 squadrons are going in it. That feels right there like rebels right there, where she's saying, okay guys, get in there, go get them. And then there goes all the X-Wings. Okay, not 6 X-Wings, but still, there goes all the squadrons right in there after, the TIE fighters. So
you guys will see that back tomorrow. The one with debuting with Buster.
Yep.
So we'll get to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, XR8 are great. I would really like to know what XR8s are. That makes them so great.
Yes.
So thank you for your question. All right, next we have Franz Odendahl. A question for both of you, gents. The Bad Batch was represented in an Armada setup as a boarding party under the Republic. How do you word their card? Curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I really, because you guys figured out that I like Bad Batch by now. And I think we might talk, at least I talked to Ben about this being a boarding party. And since they don't really, I don't know, what was it? They don't follow orders, or they don't, but anyway, they always complete their mission. But they might not follow the orders to a T. So maybe have some kind of randomized, they board, have randomized what they actually hit. Some sort of thing, on the dice roll. You get the die rolled up, blue die, you get an accuracy, they had hit something, an upgrade, a certain type of upgrade, and then a crit, no, different type of upgrade. That's a lot of wording on the card, as I realized after I was thinking about the question and stuff. So I don't even know if you can actually fit all that wording on the card, but, and a blank, I don't know what they're doing on a blank. But, that's what I can see. They do something different that you didn't expect them to do. Because that's kind of what they are. I bet you don't expect them to do something, but they do something that helps out your fleet. That helps out your army.
Now that could be interesting, having it randomized. Actually.
Yeah, it's kind of randomized things now.
I was similar in that when I was thinking about it. I would have them be as a multi-use card. Boarding parties right now is one use. Discard it. I would have Bad Batch be multi-use, and like you keep track of it with tokens or something, and each time you use them, there's like a set of abilities, each one representing each of them. You've got Hunter, right. Crosshair, I'm doing the originals, and Ted.
Yes.
And so you have 4 abilities, so you have a 4-use card, and every time you use it, you get to do one of the, you do like Ricker's ability.
Okay, so it's moved.
And then if you do it again, you can't use Ricker's ability, so you then have to choose Hunter, Crosshair, or Tech's ability. And then, so you basically have a 4-use card, and each time you do it, you have to pick a certain ability, but it's only once per game.
That's interesting too.
Yeah. Now I don't know how you make it easy to track that. The logistics of that would be difficult, but that would be very unique.
Yeah.
And obviously you'd want to make it more expensive than most, maybe make it like a 7-8 point card because you're getting multiple uses out of a boarding party. And I think that would actually be kind of cool to represent them, that they're a team and they all have
Yes.
unique abilities.
Right.
So that I hope we get a Bad Batch party
I
card.
do. I
You-
mean,
I hope even if we just get individual cards, because like Rebels, we got
Yeah.
we got Hera as a squad, we
Right.
got Kanan as a squad, we
Mhm.
got Ezra and Sabine
yeah, I don't
as
think so.
upgrade cards.
I can't see Bad Batch being split up.
Right. So yeah, I think have them as
Or a
just
boarding
one
party.
card, boarding
Yeah.
party.
It's
It's just
perfect
Bad
for
Batch.
So
So
I think it's
and I hope they make it unique, where it's like multi abilities or random,
Right, or
where you
random,
roll to
right.
see what they actually
Yeah.
do when you send them in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would kind of be cool and unique.
Yes, I think both are really cool
Yeah.
ideas.
So hopefully we see that
Yes,
coming up soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a missed opportunity for sure if they don't do that.
definitely, especially with the new shows.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Franz.
Thanks, Ron.
Next we have Del Poi 56. This one is I'm just going to do this one real quick because this is kind of like a rules question.
Mm-hmm.
So if Ezra Bridge removes an obstacle and it collides with the ship, does it cause damage to that ship? So this is just something to keep in mind when it comes to obstacles and things moving. The original rules to this, I think, came out because I don't think obstacles even moved until Rebellion of the Rim. I can't remember if it was that or Rebellion Conflict when those rules entered in. But when you look at obstacles, when you are moving obstacles, they cannot overlap ships or squads or other obstacles. So when you're moving your obstacles, that scenario can never happen. Because the best you could do is just get it like right up next to the ship or put it like right in front of the ship.
Right.
So when Ezra moves the asteroid in front of the Star Destroyer, you can't move it on to the Star Destroyer to cause
No.
damage. What you do is you move it into the path, and then the Star Destroyer is forced to run onto it when it moves. So just keep that in mind when you're doing Ezra. Or there's lots of missions that move obstacles. Some of the more unique missions where obstacles move, and like with Purgles and stuff, and asteroids moving. Just keep in mind that you can't overlap ships when you're moving the obstacles, or overlap other obstacles. You basically have to stop short, or just go around, that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing that.
Right.
Thank you for your question, though. It's good to get some of those rules clarifications. And I am 99% sure I am right in explaining that. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will let me know, and I'll be sure to correct that.
And I'm 99% glad that Ben took that question because I left it blank thinking, I'm going to tell him, Ben, this is a question for you.
I know that's right. I'm confident, but not so much. We've been getting some rules wrong the past couple battlers, but anyway.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. All right, next we have Crazy Kev, 1985. Robin Ben, what is your favorite rebel ship to play? Imperial, Separatist, and Republic. So basically, our favorite ships for each faction.
All right. Well, I'm going to go the MC-80 Command Cruiser still. That's still my favorite one. That's my home one. That's my baby. I love her still. The brand new ships, I'll have to see. So, but she's my baby now. That's my mom.
No other
Oh,
factions?
you want? Oh, I think you want to do yours.
Oh, you don't do all yours.
All right,
All right. Do all yours. There's no
So
problem.
the Imperial side, I've only played Imperial a few times, so I really don't know. But the ones I've played, anyways, I really like the Gladiator. For some reason, I just like that ship. I like the maneuverability. I like when it hits hard. I like it being a flanker. That's me.
Especially with the Demolisher type.
Yes, especially the small ship. Yes,
Still the cheater ship.
still a cheater ship, but still, I am going to look at the other titles just because.
Yes.
To expand my mind. But no, the Gladiator would be definitely mine. Going down to the Republic, again, I haven't really played them as much yet, but by the looks of it, it's going to be the Venator. Definitely the Venator. The Pelter I'm really interested in, though. That one has me really, really intrigued. Because, Pelters I have trouble in Rebels using. I really do. I know they're good and all that stuff, but I have a feeling it's going to be better in Republic for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. So that's going to have to be intriguing. But it would be right now the Venator. For Separatists, it's tough. So it'd be the Represent, or it would be the Providence. The Providence I loved because I did that 101st strike, Alpha strike there on Ben, and I loved it. It was just so satisfying. No offense, Ben, but
That was great.
it was like when you did that.
It was devastating to me.
It was like when you did that Venator drop on me, a hyper jump drop.
Oh, the acclimator.
Acclimator, sorry.
Hyperspace assault. Yeah.
Hyperspace assault on me, and it was very satisfying. But so I was like, yes, I got it.
Hey, you picked the mission, man.
I know, I did pick that mission. I did pick the mission. Yes, I did.
Yep.
Because I don't know why sometimes. But anyways, so I think if I had to come down to it, because I played the Providence, and I've only played it as the Invisible Hand, it would be the Invisible Hand currently.
Yep.
So,
So for mine, favorite rebel ship is the Liberty, the battle cruiser MC-80, the Moncal ship with wings. Is when I was younger, it was my favorite ship of all time in Star Wars, and it's probably my third favorite now all time. But I love it. So easily my favorite. You'll notice a theme here. Imperial, everyone knows Imperial 2-star destroyer. Favorite ship in the entire game, which is Imperial's period. Republic, Venator 2. Played with it once. You guys saw yesterday, and I love battle carriers, combination battleship carriers, and Venator 2 I think is now the prime example of that. And I love squad play, and I love that design. And then for Separatists, it's hard to say. They're my least favorite faction. They're a great faction. They have a lot of fantastic stuff. And a lot of great combos and everything, and I think the ship design, the actual putting together the ship design is well done. It's just aesthetically and lore-wise, I don't like the Separatists, which is why I'm not going to be investing in them. But if I had to pick a ship, it'd probably be the Requisite, now that I've seen it up close and personal, and as you guys saw yesterday in the Bat Rep, how it performed. Probably be the Requisite. I think out of all the Separatist ships, the design is nice, and it's so unique in its firing arcs and how it's played. So I think that's what I would pick. But as you guys saw in the theme for my Imperial, Rebel, and Republic, with the Venator, the Star Destroyer, and the Liberty, they all have the same, very, very similar play styles. I love the forward firing, angled type ships, so I'm not very creative on that. I'm very similar all around the board. But hey, I like what I like.
It's style.
It's style. It's not very diverse, but yeah, there it is. So thank you, Crazy Kev.
Thanks, Rico.
All right. So next we have Cool Cat Kid 20 Frisk. He's a cool cat, and he's a kid, and he's 20.
20.
I don't know. I'm reading a lot of stuff into here, but
Alright, fun.
yeah, Cool Cat Kid 20 Frisk. This is for both. What is your favorite battle report you have posted, and why?
So, it's my favorite. Okay, this is my favorite one. It'll be a Gate versus a Puzzle subscriber list. That was done by James Miracle and Mother Moore. That was an incredible game. Okay, I mean it was tense.
Yeah.
A good tense.
Yeah.
So don't take that as negative. But and it had to do a lot more maneuvering because of the mission as well. But you guys have exactly almost mirror imaged fleets. I mean, it was incredible. And I'm telling you, if you could see us off camera, Ben and I were going back and forth. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. What do I do? I mean, this was one actually that challenged me. Well, most of it does me, but I can see.
No, it was very challenging both ways because both of us didn't want to shoot the flagships. We both had deterrents on not letting to shoot them. Both fleets, if you made one wrong move, very difficult to recover. We both had to be very careful with maneuvering and target priority. And yeah, that was a very fantastic.
That was great.
Very close, very close battle down to the wire to the very end of it. My favorite up to a couple weeks ago was actually my Midway.
Yes.
And barring the fact that spoilers if you haven't seen it, it was a blowout. But that's not why I like it. I liked it because just like I talked about just a few seconds ago, I love the concept of battle carrier and commanding squads. And when I had my inspiration, because I had watched the movie Midway, bring 2 Imperial ones and just make them pure carriers, but still battle carriers, because they're still Star Destroyers, get slung out there, was a whole bunch of swarm of fighters, and just playing with Star Destroyers and fighters and Sloan, and it was just not only an incredibly powerful list, it was just, I felt like I was commanding World War II carriers.
Right.
So that would be, I guess, a tied for first, and I'll maybe second. Because my favorite now is the one that we did a 600-point game with James Mars list that you put together with him.
Yeah.
And that's just because I got to play with all my favorite toys.
Yes, you did.
It was Thrawn and his Chimera.
Yeah.
It was 6 Defenders. It was Quasar, my favorite pure carrier. It was Iden on the Corvus.
Yes.
Merrick Steele and Colonel Jendon. It was basically, I got to play with all my favorites.
Yes.
Exactly how I like them.
Yeah.
And so it's currently my favorite just because of that. Not exactly because of the
Lacking.
I feel really bad how I just picked 2 bat reps where it was kind of a blowout, and I hate playing blowout games.
No.
But I like them because of what I was playing with, not because of the outcome of the game. Because like what you were talking about, the one with the Oslo versus the Gate, I really enjoyed that match because it was so challenging and such a close game.
Wow.
So maybe I should pick a different one. I just like those because I got to play with my favorite toys. And
the favorite toy one, that one I was happy to see him take out everything. Okay. I mean, he has been wanting to take out all his favorite toys, as he says. I mean, he's been saying that for.
Well, I was so excited to finally actually have more than 4 defenders. I've always wondered more than 4, just have 6 defenders.
So no, I was happy to see him play.
It was just,
and it was a great experience to be working with James, Irish Mad Cat, by the way.
Hopefully we can do more of that.
Yes, and it was awesome to work with him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I learned from him, and I learned then during that game too at the same time. And I mean, yes, there were some poor plays on my part, but it was a good game. I mean, it was a good game. And then midway, I mean, I don't blame you for liking that one because you were inspired by a movie and you made it work.
Yeah.
Plus, you have 2.
And the thing is, I didn't know if it was going to work because up to that point, the Imperial 1 Star Destroyer had been basically stigmatized.
Right. Yeah.
People don't like it, at least as far as what I've heard and this stuff. And I'd never played it to that point.
Right.
And I decided I wanted to see if I can't make Imperial 1s work, make the 2 Imperial 1s work.
Right. Yes.
And just make them just deck them out as carriers.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a great thing you did.
I think it surprised me at how it was a pretty bad blowout, and it surprised me at how bad of a blowout. I wasn't expecting it to do that well. Because I didn't. It was just a pure theory craft list that it's like I'm just gonna make carriers with it and
good, Ben.
Yeah. So
you did a good theory craft.
Right. So it was one of those. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Effective. So.
And that's why I always tell Ben, by the way, that he can bring any theory craft he wants against me, no matter how cheesy it is, because it's great. I have fun with it too.
Yeah.
Even shellackings I have fun with. It sounds weird, but and I learn a lot. I mean, I do learn a lot from it, but I have fun, and that's all. I mean, that's what Ben does it to me. Not shellacking, but bringing out all these wonderful theories against me that he wants to try.
Well, just try them out.
Yeah. And I'm like, do it. The double Ani one, for instance.
Yeah, that one was okay. I don't know how much I'll do that again.
No, but I'm just saying, that's another theory one that you were kind of playing around with.
But that one, I didn't like that one.
No.
Double onager is, to me, is just so boring. There's no nuance or even challenge to it.
I'm just saying, that's where,
Just
Ben
I
knows
the
that
example.
he can take something against me, even the SSDs, which I'd like to see maybe twice a year.
Right.
But, especially when Palpatine is on that ship. Yeah. But, no, so I think, don't worry about that at all.
Well, it's not a worry, it's just one of those where it just surprised me how effective it was. So.
Oh, no, that should be in. That's definitely a feather in your cap, man.
Alright, so thank you, Cool Cat Kid 20 Frisk.
Thanks, okay.
I'd like to know the story behind that name, by the way.
A lot of your names, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a story behind that name. There's a lot of information in that name. So.
And all these names.
Alright, Mark Salmon. Hey dudes, question for you both. If you could be any species from Star Wars, what would you be and why? I guess we'll just start with that.
Alright. Well, Cowabunga, dude.
Ninja Turtles.
That's a tough choice. That's a very tough choice, Mike, because I really like Wookiees. I really do. I've liked them since day one, since I saw the New Hope. But now the Clone Wars comes out, Bad Batch, and all of them. I like clones. So I either be a Wookiee or a clone. I'm not quite sure.
A non-brainwashed clone.
Yes, a non-brainwashed one. I would like to have my own.
An altered clone that
Yes.
does not have Order 66 in it.
Exactly. Exactly. But I like both because they have a great culture and a great story behind them. You don't hear about the Wookiees as much, the story behind them as much, but the clones you do. Especially if you watch Clone Wars, you see the whole entire story about how they don't want to be just number one, ZZ, X, Y, Z, Y, and whatever. They want to be a name. They want to have a name.
Yeah.
And they want to have their own personality, and they develop their own personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Cody is different from Rex.
Yep.
And different from Wolf. And, then you get the, Bad Batch is a little different story, but, you get all these clones. And there are some clones that will be, of course, just clones.
Yeah.
But I think, out of those, that's a tie between
Wookiees and clones.
Yeah, because Wookiees have a great culture. I like their culture, their life day. I love their the whole entire Kashyyyk planet. Their conflict with the Trandoshians, who were slavers, try to come down and slave them. Yeah, I obviously know the Wookiees really well. But yeah, so that's mine.
Mine is also, I'm going to be picking two. First one, easy answer is the Chiss. I love the Chiss. Beyond the whole fact that it's not just because of Thrawn, but because their entire culture. Thrawn didn't just come out of a vacuum. And yes, he's unique among Chiss, but all Chiss are very analytical, thoughtful, strategic geniuses. They're a very mysterious society.
Yes.
They have kept themselves secret from the greater galactic community. They think long term in planning, which is the whole reason why Thrawn is in the major galactic empires. Long term thinking, generations ahead of the needs. That'll be a whole other lore video about the reason why Chiss and Thrawn. And also, they just look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Blue with the glowing red eyes. I mean, this is cool. But Chiss are not force sensitive, and I love Jedi, so that's why this is a two-part answer. Is because my second species I'll pick would be Maralukans. And for those of you not familiar with Maralukans, they're a species that I don't even know if it exists anymore in current Star Wars. They're from Knights of the Old Republic 2, and they are a species that are they're all born blind, and they see through the Force.
Oh yes.
So that was Visas Mar was a Maralukan in Knights of the Old Republic 2, and there's Maralukans in the Old Republic MMO.
Yep.
And so I like them to be basically the fact that you're basically born as the Force sensitive and you see through the Force.
That is
That's what I say. So I'll be, and then obviously I would want to be a Jedi if I was a Maralukan.
Yes.
So that would be my, those would be my two picks, Chiss or Maralukan.
That's cool.
So.
That's cool.
Alright, so next we have from Mark Salmon. We know who your favorite characters from Star Wars are, but who is your least? I'll just go right now. Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. Yep.
Closed and done. We'll just stop right there. No more needs to be said.
I have a feeling I actually knew that was going to come out.
Yep.
By the way.
And then also from Mark Salmon, we have, and lastly, what is the most compelling aspect of Star Wars to you both?
I think it'd be character development, especially with Anakin, Vader. The development of him from a kid, even though there's some movies we do forget. But anyways, and then him, going through life, and then becoming Vader, and then also having, his son, going up against his son, trying to convince his son, all that jazz. And then the culture of the various species that these just mentioned right here. I mean, you mentioned Chiss, I mentioned Wookiee cultures right there alone. I mean, that's huge, and that's really great about the whole Star Wars universe. And then lastly, I like space and fantasy together.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a glowing sword and a blaster. Actually, I'm more of a Han Solo blaster kid. Yeah. But, that's just me.
Yeah, it's sci-fi fantasy, which is, my original nerd is Trek. Star Trek's my original favorite. I love Star Trek, and it's that's more science fiction.
Right.
It's grounded more in science and scientific explanations. They try to keep it more real.
Right.
And Star Trek is more about exploring, modern day societal morality and stuff in their episodes.
Right.
Star Wars is just pure fantasy fun.
Yes.
And that's what I love about that. But I also love with your pure fantasy fun is that you still have basically the vast majority that they're getting away from it now, just do more storylines. But like you were talking about with what Rob was saying, the foundation of Star Wars, how it was built, is the struggle between good and evil.
Right.
But not just externally, Rebels versus Empire. That the most important struggle is the struggle between good and evil within yourself. That's the whole point of Luke's journey.
Yeah.
And Anakin's journey, and how Luke was able to resist and Anakin
Right.
didn't, and the struggle against the dark side and the light side, and being able to come up to that edge, and those that fall over, and those that resist, and maybe so. I like that's a constant theme in Star Wars. It's the struggle between the light and the dark, not the overt part of it, but the internal struggle in each individual, the struggle between the light and dark within everybody, and who can and can't overcome that.
Because we all do.
Yeah.
I mean,
very personal stories in that can be relatable to anyone.
So.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, we're getting close to the end, guys. We're almost there. Got 2 questions. Well, 2 people left, but multiple questions, I think. So, all right, we have our favorite Chogruta, Ahsoka Tano. These questions are for both of you. Do you guys like Clone Wars or Rebels more? And what upcoming series are you looking forward to the most?
So, a tough one, but I like Clone Wars better. Rebels was good, but I think Rebels was good because they learned over time as they were developing Clone Wars on what was good, was working, and they had just more experience, basically. But Clone Wars by far is still my number one. Yeah, I watched Rebels. I liked Rebels. Don't get me wrong. I liked it, but it's number 2 compared to Clone Wars.
Mine would be the opposite. I like Rebels, but you can, as Rob said, you can definitely tell they learned a lot from their Clone Wars development and what they put into Rebels. And but I wouldn't like Rebels if it wasn't Clone. There was Clone Wars.
That's only chicken and the egg.
Yeah, very chicken in the egg.
Yeah.
Spoilers, real quick. Just so you guys know, I'm talking about some things I specifically like so much about Rebels, but just spoilers. Some of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars are in Rebels. Twilight of the Apprentice, the season 2 finale of Rebels, where Vader and Ahsoka face off.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's.
I mean, geez, I can't even think about it.
That alone right there. Yeah.
That could just be one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars when they have that confrontation.
Oh.
And and the same thing goes for seeing Thrawn brought back into canon. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I saw the teaser for season 3 of Rebels, and then you just see the red eyes and Thrawn coming out of the shadows. I was like, oh my god, Thrawn is back in canon. I was so mad when Disney took over and they just get rid of all legends. And seeing Thrawn come back in season 3 and 4, and the Rebels basically having to go up against Thrawn.
Right.
That was fantastic. That's why I love it so much. But again, we wouldn't have the whole story of it wouldn't mean much if you didn't have Clone Wars to start.
No, because all of a sudden, who is Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Where does Snow come from?
If you didn't have the relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka built, but over 7 seasons of Clone Wars, that final confrontation of theirs wouldn't have mattered. So, yeah, they're both fantastic.
They are. They are.
So it's one of those where it's hard to pick. And the upcoming series, it's Ahsoka. Easily Ahsoka is the favorite upcoming series. Obi-Wan I love Obi-Wan. I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
He is good.
I cannot wait for that. But I also cannot wait for the Ahsoka series.
For multiple reasons.
Multiple reasons. You see the continuation of her character, but also they get Thrawn live action. So it's just, can't wait. So months they didn't get those filming done, get it post-production, get it out. Get it out. I want to see him so bad.
The one I want to see next would be the Mandalorian, believe it or not. I really like the whole entire, I'm going to say, Western type theme, the space Western theme. That's, I always love that. And
that was the foundation of Star Wars.
Yep.
Was George Lucas combining Western with basically samurai films.
Camelot, and
So it was like a, yeah.
But so the whole Western thing, that's the reason why I like Han so much, too, is because they both remind me of, both Mandalorian and Han both remind me of the Westerns. And not that I ever watched Westerns when I was a kid, but having a space Western is actually more exciting to me.
Firefly.
Yes, exactly. I was about to say that. Just want to say that.
Space Cowboy.
Yeah, Space Cowboy.
Love Firefly.
Firefly.
Love Firefly.
But the Mandalorian, the way the things he's going through, and I think it's really cool that they actually have the Mandalorians not know what Jedi are, not like, oh yes, Jedi. He calls them sorcerers. Because he's like, oh,
Yep.
And that his total, I guess would say, story about him trying to deal with being a Mandalorian, yet not a Mandalorian at the same time. Being a Mandalorian through code, but when he meets, oh my gosh, I forget her name. Thank you, Bo-Katan, and they're talking, and he's like, no, that's the way the code is. And she's like, what are you talking about? So the whole time, not confrontation really.
Well, it was.
Yeah, but
and him realizing that his way he was brought up in Mandalorian isn't the only way.
Right. Yeah.
And I love the exploration of the different Mandalorian cultures that's going on in the Mandalorian show.
I mean, it's so much.
And season 3, I'm looking forward to it because it's got to be Bo-Katan and the Darksaber and trying to take back Mandalore. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, very looking forward to that.
Don't have to say it, but yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
All right, and then also from Ahsoka. Finally, this is kind of a. Finally, do you think characters like Mace Windu, Yoda, Alia Secura, Cody, Rex, Shock T, Padme, Maul, Savage, Palpatine, Ventress, Newt Gunray, etc. will come to our Armada? Sorry for the list. I just hope to see a lot of those characters show up. On that note, what characters do you want for the Clone Wars era, Republican Separatists? Well, you just listed a whole bunch of them.
Yes, and basically that's what I got.
They absolutely must. I mean, Mace and Yoda is. If they don't include Mace Windu and Yoda in Armada, some way, Yoda's got to be commander. Right. I'd almost say Mace has got to be commander. He's got to be.
I would say because he's kind of commander.
Yeah, I mean they were the head of the Jedi. It was them and Conehead dude. What's his name? But I mean it's Yoda, Mace, and what is his name? But they were like you had the Jedi Council, but they were like the big three.
Big three, yeah.
And they had the final say over everything. They got to have those guys.
They need to.
They need to in some fashion. Whether officers or commanders or something.
Yeah.
I don't know about Alia Secura. I hope so. I love Alia. I think she's great. She's a Twi'lek Jedi for those of you who don't know. Yeah. Maybe like a boarding team. I think she'd be great. It's like a boarding team. Or maybe like a lower cost officer, maybe. Yeah. Shock T would be a great officer.
Oh, yeah.
That would give bonuses to clones because she actually trained the clones on Camino. So she would make sense.
Cody and Rex definitely.
Yeah, gotta have Cody and Rex. Again, they missed opportunities. They've got Zach, they've got Wolf, they got Silver. These are all low.
They might be building up though.
Yes, building up, but it's like you're giving us all these clones that you have to be really deep cut lore guys.
Yes, right.
They're gonna have Cody and Rex. They're gonna have Cody.
They're building up.
They gotta have Cody and Rex.
And then Cody Rex. Already got Wolf out actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. I think that especially since Wolf came out, I think we'll see Cody Rex now. Because Cody's going to work somehow. I think as maybe an officer along with Obi-Wan. Yeah, I think there's going to be some kind of combo.
Got to be some sort of combo.
Yeah. Rex. Rex is going to be interesting. He's going to be a boarding team. I think
he'll be a boarding team because
something to do with Anakin, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I don't know if they could be like an officer with Anakin. Because sometimes he would stand back and direct from behind.
Yeah.
But boarding team, I can see him.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll see Padme. She did have a lot more
Yes.
to do in the Clone Wars series
Right.
than she did in the movies.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think she could be like a Leia. She could be an
Yeah.
officer card.
Right.
It gives to give bonuses.
Yep. Yep.
To like the fleet or like a ship or something.
Right. I think she or maybe actually, since she was more of a diplomat, she could probably get rid of Reed.
And maybe she could be like
Get rid of
raid tokens, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah, be like an anti-raid
Yeah.
officer.
That'd
That'd actually be pretty cool, actually.
That'd be pretty cool if they did something like that. It's like, no.
Maul and Savage, I do not see Maul being an officer card or anything. I think Maul will be a rogues and villain squad.
Yes.
Because Maul, most definitely, he was not with the Republic. He was not the Separatists. He hated everybody.
Right.
He is definitely going to be, a rogue.
But
on doing his own thing. So,
if you had to pick originally, who he not liked more, but who he could work with more, it'd probably be Empire.
But there is no Empire.
I'm sorry, Republic.
I don't even.
Not Republic. No, my bad. I'm sorry, Separatist.
Not even. Yeah, I guess he was the.
Because he was the original.
He was the original. Went over to.
And he could be adept. I mean, so
Yeah.
he could have that.
Yeah.
So,
I
can't see Savage.
I don't think Savage fitting, but
But
Maul
again,
will fit. I think he'll be on the Separatists, but I think he's got to be in the rogues and villains pack.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think unless they want to go but the thing the Clone Wars weren't happening at the point when Maul was with Palpatine, and he was by the time Clone Wars happened, he had taken over Mandalore, or was on his way to take over Mandalore. He did take over Mandalore.
And Savage was going to get finding him, but so those two are tough.
Yeah, those two are tough.
But I can see them still being.
Ventress for sure.
Ventress definitely.
She'll definitely be in it.
I mean,
Newt Gunray, of course, will be in it. Newt Gunray, I'm predicting now he'll be when they do the Lucre Hulk.
But really, cool.
The big donut ship.
Yep.
That's. I mean, that's why we had to wait for Admiral Piet for the Superstar Destroyer. It just made sense. He was the commander, the executor.
Yep.
Newt Gunray, we see he's the Lucre Hulk. That was his command ship. So when we get to Lucre Hulk, I put money on it. That's when we'll get Newt Gunray.
If he's not, well,
and he'll be a commander. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
For that.
Yeah.
I
guess Maul and Savage are really the ones that we would.
Maul and Savage are. I mean, we might actually get Palpatine. So they asked about Palpatine.
Well, younger Palpatine.
But as the Chancellor, not as
right.
So
it'd be younger, just like Tarkin.
Well, yeah. But I would say he'd be like an officer, not like a commander, but like an officer, where it's Chancellor Palpatine.
Right.
And maybe give something I don't know, just some subtle bonuses.
Yeah, maybe more radio.
Yeah, but just very subtle because he's not revealed as the Emperor yet and as an evil person yet. He's subtly manipulating things behind the scenes.
I was thinking about that too. That was an interesting one you brought up, Soka, because he was kind of manipulating all sides.
He was. Yeah.
So, where would you put him?
I wonder if you could get dual cards. You get a Palpatine that is for the Republic, and Darth Sidious that is for the Separatists.
Yeah, so that would make more sense.
So or maybe it's just one card, but it's split two sides, kind of seeing some magic cards have split cards.
Right.
And one side is you can play him with the Republic. The other side you have to play him with. Right. So he's either Chancellor Palpatine. Or Darth Sidious, depending on which faction you're playing with. That would be a very unique.
That would be unique and a really kind of cool thing to do for him because he was playing both sides. So you can't really choose. I mean, you can choose a side, but
So I think it would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be an unique opportunity, kind of like Hondo, where Hondo can play on both sides.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think Palpatine should be like that in the Clone Wars here because he was playing both sides. So that'd be kind of cool.
Not sure what you do, but.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ahsoka. Those are really good ideas, and I'm sure we'll see all these. There's so much lore they can draw from the Clone Wars. I think we're going to be getting lots of expansions and cards in the future. I have no doubt.
Yep.
All right, we have our last question.
Oh.
All right, so we have Northern Hero. Hey guys, question for both of you. You guys collect any other Star Wars games or just plain collectibles, and what is the pride of your collection?
Yes, I collect other things besides Armada. I have, as I mentioned earlier, the books that are more like Vader for sort of thinking and such. I also have some Christmas ornaments, and I have some decorative things around the house that are basically Star Wars themed.
So simple answer is no. I'm not big into collectibles. I just don't. I'm not that kind of person that collects models just to have them on display or like posters or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I just say Millennium Falcon right there.
Yeah.
Picture. So, but I that's just not just for anything. I don't do that for any genre of anything. I've just never been that way where I collect that kind of stuff. If I have a model, it's for a game. It's not going to play a game. And I realized I don't actually have any other Star Wars games. Like, I don't have Star Wars Rebellion. I love Star Wars Rebellion, but I don't have it because my sister and Zach have it.
Right,
so I
so
don't feel the need to have it. If I want to play it, I just go and play with them.
Yeah.
But it's one that I might eventually invest in because I really love that game. But sort of tangentially, it just started a few months ago. I do have an Obi-Wan Kenobi costume I'm putting together.
Oh,
so
right.
Be my first cosplay I've ever done. So I got it actually at Disney Galaxy's Edge. I was surprised when I was there with my family over Christmas, and they had very high quality costumes for Jedi. So got that there, and then I've been slowly the past few months buying more stuff like my boots and all that kind of thing, and the little stuff for the belt. Mm-hmm. And my plan is to eventually be part of the Rebel Legion. It's like the 501st.
Oh yeah.
For the Rebels to be an official Obi-Wan Kenobi
right.
cosplayer. Really, the last thing I need is the lightsaber. I want to get a nice one, but they're expensive. And I've been doing a lot of research, and I don't know much about buying the lightsaber thing. I know Eric, but yeah. So but it's one of those where I just need I'm taking my time to get the lightsaber because I want to get it right.
Right.
So, and because it's a big investment. So, yeah.
I got to plug that one.
I might talk to Eric see if he might be willing to custom build one.
He is.
I don't know. So,
he's going to build a custom one for me, actually.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll have to
lights and sound and everything.
Yeah. But since I want to be official Obi-Wan, it has to be the actual. It's going to be Episode 3 Obi-Wan is the cosplay I'm doing. So. But yeah, so the plan is, because we're actually going to Kansas City Comic-Con this August, and I'm going as Obi-Wan, my wife Katie's going as Bo-Katan.
Oh, cool.
Macy, who's my daughter, is going as Ahsoka.
Nice.
My sister's going, she's going to be Padme, Zach's going as Commander Cody.
Oh.
And Zach's brother-in-law is going as Captain Rex.
Oh, wow.
And we might actually have a friend of ours from the theater that will be going as Emperor Palpatine. So we're like doing it.
That'd be great.
Albert was going to go, but
life changes.
The main reason why we were going to this in the first place, we were going to go last year, but they got postponed for the COVID. Is that Ashley Eckstein was supposed to be there?
Yeah,
the voice of Ahsoka.
Yeah, I was going to go with them.
But she's not going to be there now.
No,
they just. Well, we're going to go anyway, just to have fun for cosplaying.
Right.
But trying to convince Albert to still go and. He was thinking of going as Cal Kestis from the Jedi Fallen Order game. So do a whole cosplay group for that one Saturday. But anyway, that's as far as the collectibles is that I'm collecting a Jedi outfit to be Obi-Wan. So, and really the last piece now is just the lightsaber, and then also just to grow my hair out. So it's the lightsaber is a big one, and so yeah. Now that you mentioned, I do need to message Eric, see if he might be willing to do that.
Yes, go talk to him later. But so the pride. So you consider that cosplay, be your pride of your collection?
Well, it's the only collection I have.
Yeah, I guess so. All right,
it's the only one I got.
I was wondering, all right. So I guess the pride of my collection would be well, there's three things. There is the picture of the Millennium Falcon.
Right there. You guys can't see it. We can see
right
it.
There, but he's pointing at Millennium Falcon hanging on my wall. And my friend Buster has got.
Sorry, I just thought about. We need to put that picture here when we're doing all of our bat reps and stuff. When we're doing.
Yes.
Why haven't we not done that? We have the Millennium Falcon right there.
Well, Star Wars picture. That's coming up next. Right below it
Oh yeah, the Darth Vader pillow.
is the Darth Vader pillow, where it says, "My sister got it for me," and it says, "Sith happens."
Nice.
So
We need to start getting those in the shots.
yes, I think we will be
Start reorganizing
reorganizing some things.
Yeah.
But and then of course my mother got me a Darth Vader back. Oh my gosh, when I was a kid, it was a Christmas ornament, and I still have that.
Oh, nice.
And so that is also a pride. So those three, I think most of the things that are the pride of my collections in general, no matter what kind of collection it is things people have given me.
Yeah.
It means a lot more to me than me just going out and buying at a store. So yeah, more of them. Yeah.
Well, very cool. And that was the last question. Thank you, Northern
Yeah.
Hero.
Thank
And
you.
thank you all you guys for
Yes.
submitting the questions. We love doing this because it gives us a chance basically to have a discussion with you. Not quite like a live discussion, but it's just in a different vein.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder, go ahead and engage with us in the comments, responding to our responses, just to have a conversation. And that is entering into the giveaway.
Yeah.
So that is part of the giveaway for these AMAs, just talking with us and having a discussion with us about the questions we talked about, etc., to get into the giveaway. And then also, I'm just going to try to do this in every video now from now on, just to remind people that if you are interested in Admiral Tater gear that he makes, we are in a partnership where he has been generous enough to do a discount code, downsize at 10 or downsize at 10, so you get 10% off your entire purchase there.
Yes.
Very grateful to Garrett Vance for the partnership he's had with the channel, helping it grow with the giveaways and everything. And I'm really hoping we can continue to let that expand and help you guys as you guys are getting to Armada with the giveaways and the discounts to Armada gear, etc.
Right.
So, thank you guys again so much. We love doing these AMAs. We will be doing them once a month. So, start of July, we'll do the next one. So we'll just keep doing it. We just love talking with you guys and keep sending the questions in. And near the end of June is probably when I'll do the announcement video for the questions of the AMA, and then July is when we'll do the responses. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Rob, it was fun.
It's always fun, Ben.
It was long. Hope you guys are still with us. Hope you guys enjoyed several drinks and some dinner or whatever while you're watching.
Dinner, popcorn,
whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
And yes. So thank you again so much again for watching and supporting the channel.
Yes.
And until next time, take it easy.